Dear student, today we shall start disorder of lymphoreticular system. So after complete discussion about the hematological hemopoietic disorder, we are now in the another system, that is the disorders related to the lymphoreticular system. So before going to start the disease of lymphoreticular system, we shall try to make a general concept of lymphoreticular system. So lymphoreticular system mainly composed of lymphoid cells and lymphoid organ, lymphoreticular organ. So lymphoid cells are, all of you know that they are mainly lymphocytes, and the lymphocyte which may be of T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. Another cells that are NK cell, that is associated with lymphoid reticular system. Another cell like mononuclear phagocytic cell, that is macrophages and dendritic cell. They are present in the lymphoid tissue, lymphoid organ, and they play very important role in the immune system mainly. Another sometime few cells like plasma cells that are derived from the B lymphocytes are also playing the role in the lymphoreticular system disorder. So these are the cells that are involved in the lymphoreticular system, and there are tissue lymphoreticular organ that is mainly involved here. These are the primary lymphoid organ like bone marrow, thymus, and the secondary are spleen, lymph node. So these are the organ or tissue that are included under lymphoreticular system. So the pathology, the disease are mainly associated with the different type of structural and functional changes in these component of lymphoreticular system. So you must know the cells of a lymphoreticular system, that the two cells are very important, that is the lymphocyte, T lymphocytes and B lymphocyte. All of you know that these two cells are produced, lymphocytes are produced in the precursor cell of lymphoid series present in the bone marrow, and after the maturation and differentiation they enters into the circulation, and those lymphocytes which undergo processing, maturation through the thymus, they are converted into T lymphocytes, and those lymphocytes which are preprocessed or differentiated or fully matured from the bone marrow, they are converted into B lymphocyte. So these B lymphocytes is again under antigenic stimulation, it is converted into plasma cell, and that plasma cell produces a variety of antibody against antigen. So far the T cell is concerned, you know that the maturity occurs in the thymus, although the production occurs in the lymphoid series of the cell in the bone marrow. They, after the production from the bone marrow, they enters into the circulation, they passes through the thymus where it is matured and converted into T cell. From the thymus again it go into the circulation, and again after from the circulation it passes through the different lymphoid organ, especially in the lymph node, in the spleen, in the Peyer's patches they can be seen. In the lymph node especially, they are present in the paracortical area. In the paracortical area, they are dominantly present. In the spleen, it is mainly seen in the periarteriolar region, and in the Peyer's patches, they are mainly seen in the perifollicular region. So these are the typical area where the T cells are dominant, and all of you know that there are many variety there are variant of T cell that play a role in the immune system in different way. The mainly the T cells, the one variant that is known as T helper cell, that clear from the name, it help in the production of antibody from the B cell. It also activates the macrophages for the phagocytosis. It also produces a variety of cytokines like interferon, gamma, interleukin 4, 6, tissue growth factor, interleukin 6, interleukin 7. These cytokines are playing role in the inflammation as well as in the immunological reaction. They are also capable of antigen recognition that is mediated via T helper cell. So another variety of T cell, it is known as T suppressor cell, that is has got a capacity to in a cytotoxic activity. They undergo phagocytic activity and phagocytose the antigen, virus, or even the tumor cells. So in this way, the T cell are playing very important role. Another variant that is known as T regulatory cell, that regulate the immune system as a whole. So these are the variant of the T cell, and overall the function mediated via the T cells are mainly cell mediated immunity. They are very much active against the viral infection. They also causes destruction of the tumor cell. They also causes direct cytotoxic effect on the antigen by the cytotoxic T cell. They also regulate the whole immune system, and they also helpful in the delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction. They are also associated with the tissue transplant reaction. So these are the functions that are mediated via the T lymphocyte, you must know. And B cell, all of you know that they are responsible for the production of antibody. They are mainly involved in the antibody mediated immunity because they have got capacity to produce a variety of antibody like IgG, IgM, IgA. So that play a role in the antibody mediated immunity. Another cells that are produced by the bone marrow, that is known as natural killer cell or NK cell. It differs from the B cell and T cell in this way that these cells are has got granular lymphocyte. They are also called granular lymphocyte because granules are present in their cytoplasm, and the immunomarker is also different, that is associated with CD16 and CD56. You must know, I think, that the immunomarker of T helper cell is CD4 and the immunomarker of T suppressor cell or cytotoxic cell is CD8. So the ratio of CD4 and CD8 is usually 2:1. So these are the some important thing regarding the lymphoid cells. Another cells that is very important involved in the lymphoreticular system, that is the mononuclear phagocytic cell, and that is the macrophage is important. So all of you know that the macrophage is a structural modification of monocyte, and that monocyte which is produced from the bone marrow and present in the circulation. In the tissue, they undergo some structural and functional changes, and they are converted into macrophages. So these macrophages play very important role in the immune system as well as in the inflammatory reaction. They have capacity to recognize the antigen. They have got capacity to present the antigen to the T cell, and they also have got phagocytic activity. They also involved in the delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction in the immune system. So they play very important role here in the lymphoreticular system. Another cell that is known as dendritic cell, that is present in the skin as well as in the lymph node, especially in the germinal center area, and that has got phagocytic activity, and it also help in the antigen recognition and presentation. So these are the cellular component of lymphoreticular system. And the tissue, that is mainly the lymph node, the spleen, the bone marrow are the major component of lymphoreticular system. So any disorder of lymphoreticular system that may be associated with the structural and functional changes in the tissue component as well as in the cellular component of lymphoreticular system. So these are the cellular normal component of lymphoreticular system. Now come to the tissue component that is mainly involved in the lymphoreticular disorders, and that is the lymph node. So we must know some important aspect of a lymph node, that is to understand the disease related to the lymphoreticular system, especially the lymph node. So we try to understand the structural and functional component of a lymph node. All of you know that the lymph node is about 1 to 2 cm in size. They are bean-shaped structure. They are present along with the lymphatic channel, and they present in a group distributed in the group in the different region in the body, in the draining area of organ, and that are like axillary area, in the cervical area, in the inguinal area, in the aortic region, in the gastric region. So they are present at different site and in the draining area of organ or tissue. So far the structure is concerned, you know the fact, just recall, I think all of you know the structure of a lymph node, that is the outer part of the lymph node is known as capsule, that is the collagen tissue, and this collagen tissue is connected with the reticulin fiber to the into the inner structure. रेटिकुलिन फाइबर से ये जुड़ा रहता है इन द इनर स्ट्रक्चर. आफ्टर द कैप्सूल के ठीक नीचे देयर इज ए सब कैप्सुलर एरिया दैट इज नोन एज द साइनस एरिया, एंड दिस एरिया इज हैज गॉट फाइगोसाइटिक इंडोथेलियल सेल, स्पेशली माइक्रोफाजेस आर सीन इन दिस एरिया. फिर उसके नीचे अगर हम लोग अंदर के तरफ चलें तो दैट इज़ द कॉर्टेक्स. सो द इनर पार्ट ऑफ द lymph node is divided into two major parts, that is outer is cortex and inner is medulla. Cortex is the outer area, and here there is aggregation of lymphocyte in the form of follicle that is known as lymphoid follicle, and in the center there is germinal center which has got dominant of B type of lymphocytes, and dendritic cells are a few dendritic cells are seen in this area. Around the germinal around the follicle there is a layer, there is a dark staining mature small lymphocyte called mantle zone, that is called mantle zone on the capsular side. फॉलिकल के ठीक ऊपर और कैप्सूल के ठीक नीचे देयर इज ए डार्क स्टेनिंग एरिया which is mainly composed of mature small lymphocyte. That area is known as mantle zone. This is again mainly most of the lymphocyte in this area is B type of lymphocytes. So parafollicle, between the two follicles, the area between the two follicles, that is known as paracortical area, and that paracortical area is mainly show the dominancy of T cell. So mature T cell are very dominantly seen in this area, especially in the paracortical area, that is the area between the two follicles. फॉलिकल के बीच का जो एरिया है उसको हम लोग paracortical एरिया कहते हैं, और इस एरिया में सबसे ज़्यादा कौन सा सेल मिलेगा, दैट इज द T lymphocyte. Follicular center also has got some of the important cell, that is, I think all of you know, that is the dendritic cell, that is known as mononuclear phagocytic cell. डेंड्राइटिक इसलिए इसका नाम दिया जाता है बिकॉज इट इज़ ए स्मॉल सेल हैविंग इलोंगेटेड साइटोप्लाज्मिक प्रोजेक्शन, सो दैट इज वाई इट इज नोन एज डेंड्राइटिक सेल. एंड द लास्ट पोर्शन is the inner portion is known as medulla, and that medulla is mainly composed of, mainly there is a dominancy of plasma cell and some few lymphocytes. So this is the structure, and the efferent lymphatics is present on the convex area of the lymph node, and the efferent lymphatics are present on the concave area of the lymph node. So this is the whole structural structure ऑफ ए लिम्फ नोड. फर्स्ट काला पहले क्या होगा, कॉर्टेक्स होगा, उसके कैप्सूल होगा, उसके बाद सब कैप्सुलर रीजन होगा, उसमें साइनस होगा जिसमें माइक्रोफाजेज ज़्यादा रहेगा. उसके बाद कॉर्टेक्स आएगा. कॉर्टेक्स में क्या रहेगा, देयर विल बी लिम्फॉइड फॉलिकल. लिम्फॉइड फॉलिकल के सेंटर में जर्मिनल सेंटर होगा. यहाँ पर कौन सा सेल ज़्यादा होगा, दैट इज़ द बी लिम्फोसाइट्स, डेंड्राइटिक सेल. उसके बाद बिटवीन द टू पैराफॉलिकुलर रीजन फॉलिकल देयर इज अ पैराकॉर्टिकल एरिया विच हैज गॉट डोमिनेंसी ऑफ टी सेल. सो दिस इज द यूजुअल स्ट्रक्चर एंड फंक्शनल कंपार्टमेंट, सेलुलर कंपार्टमेंट ऑफ ए lymph node. There is some changes occurs in the lymph node when there is a antigenic stimulation. So under the antigenic stimulation there is proliferation and differentiation of B cell occur in the germinal center. The germinal center has got enlarged their size under the antigenic stimulation. So the first antigenic stimulation is known as primary immune response. In this condition, the small B lymphocytes which is present in the germinal follicle in the germinal center, they are converted into a first cell that is known as immunoblast. So this immunoblast is nothing but it is a large cell having vesicular nucleus, and there is a centrally placed nucleolus. This nucleolus is dominant here, and the cytoplasm is abundant and basophilic. So this is known as immunoblast, that is the first cell that produced by the B cell under the antigenic stimulation in primary response. And when it is going to happen, they are converted into the plasma cell which produces here first IgM type of antibody. You must know that in the primary response, the which antibody is going to produce, that is IgM type. In the secondary immune response, this is followed by the secondary immune response, and in the secondary immune response, the small B lymphocytes are going to converted into first centroblast. The first it is converted into centroblast, and this centroblast is a actively dividing cell having prominent of nucleus, and it has got few cytoplasm. This centroblast is again converted into mature into centrocyte, and that centrocyte has got a small irregular nucleus with coarse chromatin, delicate devoid of nucleoli. So इसमें क्या हो जाता है कि न्यूक्लियोलाई धीरे गायब होने लगता है. इरेगुलर न्यूक्लियस होता है, न्यूक्लियोलाई जो होता है वो गायब होने लगता है. दैट सेल इज नोन एज centrocyte, and that centrocyte again followed by it is mature into the immunoblast. The structure of immunoblast, you know, again this immunoblast is converted into the plasma cell, and that plasma cell produces a variety of immunoglobulin against the antigen in the form of IgG or IgA or IgD. So this is the secondary response. So in this way the lymph node undergo changes, the structural and functional changes is going to happen in the lymph node under the antigenic stimulation, under the antigenic immunological response, primary and secondary. So these are the normal histological, normal structural, normal functional, normal cellular compartment of a lymph node. This lymph node is a very commonly affected in the variety of the disease, and in all disease when it is going to affected, the first common change that is going to happen that they enlarge in their size. So enlargement of the lymph node is a very typical and very early sign when the lymph node are going to involve. Usually the lymph node is involved secondarily to the other disease. Sometimes it is primary or is directly affected, but most commonly the lymph node are going to involve by the other organ when undergo inflammatory reaction, inflammation or malignant changes. The draining lymph node is going to affected. So there is a reactive changes occurs in the lymph node. It is the secondary involvement. So this is the most common involvement in the lymph node, that it is secondarily or reactively affected by the antigenic stimulation or by the any pathological changes in the nearby tissue. When the tissue is either inflamed or undergo neoplastic changes, the draining lymph node is going to affected, and the main changes, the gross changes is going to happen, that the size is going to increase. So the enlargement of the lymph node by the different pathological condition, that is known as lymphadenopathy. So there are a variety of the causes that may lead to the lymphadenopathy. So let us try to understand, try to note or try to know the some important causes of lymphadenopathy. The first causes, that is the most common causes of lymph node involvement, is the infection. Infection of either direct lymph node or indirectly in the nearby tissue, that may secondarily involve the lymph node, and that is it is going to inflame. So inflammation of the lymph node is known as lymphadenitis, which will be discussed in later on. But first of all, we shall try to conclude or know the some important causes of lymphadenopathy. The first group of the causes is infection, that is the बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन. कोई भी इन्फेक्शन हो सकता है, स्पेशली स्ट्रेप्टोकोकल इन्फेक्शन, स्टेफाइलोकोकल इन्फेक्शन इन केस ऑफ डिप्थेरिया, इन केस ऑफ ब्रुसेलोसिस, इन द लेप्टोस्पाइरोसिस, कैंक्रोइड, एलजीवी, सिफिलिस, एसटीडी, plague, typhoid fever. These are the bacterial disease, and that may cause the lymphadenopathy. Lymph node can be affected either directly or indirectly or secondarily or reactive to the other organ infection. Streptococcus and staphylococcus is the most common cause of acute lymphadenitis, that will be seen in the later on. Tuberculosis infection is very common in our part of the country in the lymph node, either primarily or it is secondarily, that is the tuberculous lymphadenitis is going to seen, and very clearly the cervical group of the lymph node are commonly affected, and the multiple lymph node are going to affected. The very important a name is given, that is the Maiti type of lymph node enlargement is seen in case of tuberculosis. So sometimes there may be abscess is going to form in the form of cold abscess. The tuberculosis in our part of the country, we regularly see the tuberculosis involvement of the lymph node, that is tuberculous lymphadenitis. It will be a very common disease seen in the childhood or any age group. The viral infection is very common, so can cause generalized lymphadenopathy like HIV infection, Epstein-Barr viral infection, herpes simplex viral infection, cytomegaloviral infection, measles, mumps, rubella, pertussis, hepatitis B, dengue fever, infectious mononucleosis. These are the viral conditions in which the lymph node are going to affected, and there is a generalized lymphadenopathy usually seen in the viral infection. Some of the fungal infection like histoplasmosis, cryptococcosis, coccidiomycosis, they are associated with the lymphadenopathy, lymph node enlargement. Some of the protozoal infection like toxoplasmosis, leishmaniasis or filariasis. In case of filariasis, you must know this fact, there is a lymphadenitis as well as lymphangitis, or there is a lymphedema. edema is going to seen, that is the non-pitting type of edema is seen in this condition, because the lymphatic channel are going to block, and that may lead to the increased pressure, local oncotonic pressure, and that causes edema. So that is known as lymphedema, filariasis, जिसको elephantiasis भी हम लोग बोलते हैं. Malignant condition, lymph node are very commonly affected by the malignant disorders. Why you know this fact that malignant tumor are generally metastasized through the lymphatic channel, and they are deposited into the draining lymph node, and that causes the secondary involvement of the lymph node, and the size of the lymph node will be increased. So there will be lymphadenopathy. So in case of primary tumor of the lymph node known as lymphoma, either Hodgkin's lymphoma or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemic cell, they are going to infiltrate both acute and chronic lymphocytic leukemia. In that the lymph node are going to infiltrate, lymph node are going to involve, that is a lymphadenopathy is going to seen very commonly because of the infiltration of the leukemic cell in the lymph node. So lymph node undergo enlargement in case of leukemia. Secondary metastasis from the solid tumor through the lymphatic channel. This is a favorite route for the traveling of the tumor, metastasis of the tumor, and that can cause a secondary deposit in the lymph node, and that will be secondary metastasis. So lymphoproliferative disorder, again it causes enlargement of the lymph node. Autoimmune diseases like SLE, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's syndrome, immunological condition like drug reaction, serum sickness, endocrinal disorder like hypothyroidism and Addison disease, some of the miscellaneous condition like sarcoidosis, amyloidosis, chronic granulomatous inflammatory diseases, histoplasmosis, and lipid storage disease, especially Kuchus disease. In this condition, there may be enlargement of the lymph node, and there is lymphadenopathy. Drug is very important, and some of the drug causes enlargement of the lymph node or lymphadenopathy, like phenytoin, carbamazepine, that is an anti-epileptic drug, that may be associated with the phenytoin dilantin, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं, that may causes paracortical hyperplasia and enlargement of the lymph node. Sulfur drug, penicillin, aspirin, allopurinol, and erythromycin, these are the few drugs that may cause lymphadenopathy. So overall, these causes are associated with the enlargement of the lymph node. Sometimes it is localized, one group of the lymph node is going to enlarge, or sometimes there may be generalized lymphadenopathy, whole lymph node of the body is going to undergo changes in the form of lymphadenopathy, and that is known as generalized lymphadenopathy. And generalized lymphadenopathy are mainly associated with, अगर ऐसा है तो सबसे पहले हम लोग इन्फेक्शन ही सोचते हैं, वायरल इन्फेक्शन बहुत कॉमन है. ऑटो इम्यून डिजीज़ के बारे में सोच सकते हैं, मैलिग्नेंसी के बारे में सोच सकते हैं, ल्यूकेमिया या सेकेंडरी मैलिग्नेंट डिजॉर्डर, सेकेंडरी मैलिग्नेंसी दैट में बी एसोसिएटेड. ड्रग रिएक्शन में भी कभी कभी होता है, हिस्टोप्लाज्मोसिस में भी होता है, लेकिन मोस्ट कॉमनली इट इज़ एसोसिएटेड विथ इन्फेक्शियस कंडीशन और सिस्टमिक इन्फेक्शियस कंडीशन और मैलिग्नेंसी, सेकेंडरी मैलिग्नेंसी. So these are the causes of lymphadenopathy. So after, if you see or observe a case of lymphadenopathy, meaning that there is an enlargement of the lymph node, you must go through a very systematic way. We take the history, we take the clinical examination, we take the clinical features, and after correlating the things, we are able to diagnose a case of lymphadenopathy in the form of etiological diagnosis or etiological diagnosis of lymphadenopathy. So, although there are many causes, but if we examine in very systematic way, we are able to confirm the diagnosis of cause of lymphadenopathy, and then we start the treatment according to it. So far the examination is concerned, you must know the size, you must know the site of the lymph node, which group of the lymph node is going to affected. जैसे cervical group of the lymph node are very commonly affected in the tuberculous disease or in case of lymphoma. उसी तरह कभी कभी हम लोग उसके कंसिस्टेंसी देखते हैं कि वेदर इट इज़ सॉफ्ट और वेदर इट इज़ हार्ड। अगर हार्ड है तो हम लोग मैलिग्नेंसी की तरफ सोचते हैं, अगर रबड़ी है तो हॉजकिंस लिम्फोमा की तरफ हम लोग सोचते हैं। तो कंसिस्टेंसी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कैसा है, जनरलाइज है कि लोकलाइज्ड है, उसके आधार पर हम लोग प्रोग्नोसिस भी तय करते हैं। नॉट ओनली डायग्नोसिस बट ऑल्सो द प्रोग्नोसिस इज डिसाइडेड। सो in this way we go through very methodical way and we take the necessary investigation, systemic examination also, because the acute lymphadenitis are very commonly associated with the fever, rigor, chills, malaise. So systemic examination is very important, especially in the acute condition. But in case of chronic condition, you must take the clear history, examination of the lymph node, the systemic examination and necessary investigation, especially lymph node biopsy is very important. FNAC, either biopsy or through the fine needle aspiration cytology, and we are able to confirm the diagnosis whether it is inflammatory in origin or whether it is malignant in condition. So in this way, that is going to diagnose a case of lymphadenopathy by taking the history, clinical examination, clinical findings, clinical features and necessary investigation. We are conclude the cause of lymphadenopathy. So the first disease we shall start in the next class, and that will be that is the associated with the lymphadenopathy, and that is associated with the inflammation or infectious condition of the lymph node, that is known as reactive lymphadenitis, and acute and chronic non-specific lymphadenitis, that will be discussed in next class. Till we shall finish our topic for today purpose.